Hello friends, my name is Chris, and in this video tutorial, I will be showing you how to turn the surface of steel black using oil. For this project, you will need a plain steel workpiece you want to blacken, a degreasing agent such as acetone, shop towels, a heat source such as a torch or oven, oil, and an applicator such as a brush or dauber. Remember that safety is your number one priority. Ensure you have proper ventilation, PPE including a mask, gloves, and protective eyewear, and a fire extinguisher on hand. Begin by cleaning and degreasing your workpiece to remove any fingerprints or residual oils. I use non-chlorinated brake cleaner, which is essentially acetone in a can. Acetone is an excellent cleaning agent for metals. Once you've degreased your workpiece, heat the surface to between 400 and 600 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 204 to 315 degrees Celsius for the rest of the world, to achieve the desired polymerization effect without burning off the oil completely. For this, I used a Burns-O-Matic Matte Pro torch, but a standard conventional oven works as well. I measured the surface temperature regularly using a digital infrared thermometer, but if you don't have one, a telltale sign your workpiece is ready is that the surface will turn a brownish, bluish black color from the heat. Here you can even see this color change in action. Once the entire surface of your workpiece falls into the desired temperature range, it's time to apply the oil. Be careful to do this in a well-ventilated location only, as this process produces smoke. I myself was fortunate enough to have access to a welding fume extractor, but if, like most people, you lack such equipment, I recommend doing this outdoors only. Now, most types of oil should work for this process, but I chose ordinary cooking oil and recommend it for others as well. Why? It's cheap, widely available, has a high smoke point, and as a food product, it's generally non-toxic. Side note, beware of fools on internet forums telling you to use dirty used engine oil. The fumes from burning this can expose you to volatilized heavy metal compounds and other nasties. Anyway, if you wish to darken your workpiece further, simply reheat to the same temperature and apply more oil as I'm doing here. If you've ever seasoned a cast iron skillet, this process may look familiar to you. You can see how dark the surface is becoming already. While this coating already protects against corrosion, you may optionally apply a finish coat using a drying oil such as flood penetrol. This is a favorite among metal workers for preserving bare steel. I prep the surface by reheating mildly to between 150 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit using a relatively cooler propane flame. This reads 167 exactly. That will do. I poured a small amount of penetrol into a Dixie cup and applied using a dauber and a small piece of leather. I should note at this point that penetrol self-polymerizes and releases heat as it dries. This can be a fire hazard if you have cloths or rags soaked in penetrol that are not properly discarded. But trust me, these are unnecessary. I chose to engineer out this hazard by using only minimal quantities at a time with a small size applicator. Even where I use a single shop towel, it is wrapped tightly around a steel plate which acts as a heat sink. Finally, I set my workpiece, in this case a 2.5 pound hammerhead, out to dry for 24 hours. Here you can see it to the right of this photo, next to a different hammerhead I had done earlier using the same process. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and informative. Special thanks to the Hack Pittsburgh Makerspace for giving me access to the space and equipment needed to complete this project. While the larger hammer restoration project this was a part of may lie beyond the scope of this tutorial, this should at least give you an idea of what is possible using this process.